What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Joseph Gonzalez here. In today's video, we're talking about how to get listings as a new real estate agent without any credibility or past listings. Make sure you stay tuned, and we'll see you after the intro. So one of the number one questions that we're getting right now is, how do I get listings if I don't have any credibility from past listings or sold? So first off, you are not alone in the situation. There are numerous real estate agents across the entire United States and around the world that actually don't know how to get listings without having past credibility, right? Most of the time you think to yourself, hey, I need to have a listing or I need to have a sold in order to let the possible seller that I'm in contact with know that, hey, I know what I'm doing. So what do you do if you don't have a past listing or sold? The number one thing that I would tell you to do is start reaching out to your past contacts. Now, a lot of you say, well, what does that do for me? What I want you to think about is your contacts are people who know, like, and trust you. So if they know, like, and trust you, they're typically going to want to work with you, right? And then what happens is, as you start working with these past contacts or your current contacts, your friends, your family members, people you play basketball with, go to church with, do knitting with, whatever you do in your life, these folks are going to be people who actually start giving you their listings. They start giving you the opportunity to help them buy a house, and then that helps you build credibility. Another thing I tell you to do is build a newsletter. You want to make sure that you have everybody's contact information, their email, their phone number, so you can text and call them. And then you want to start sending them a newsletter of things that are going on in the neighborhood, the city. And what you're going to find out as you continue to stay in contact with these folks, they're going to be many of them who want to actually buy or sell. And they're going to come out of the woodworks and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that Sally or Frank or Jim, they were actually interested in buying or selling. And the funny thing is, a lot of them will probably want to buy or sell mainly because of you, because they want to help you out. And the reality is, the majority of our friends do want to help us out. We just got to give them the opportunity to do that. And by giving them the opportunity is by letting them know, hey, I am in real estate. I would love the opportunity to help you. I'm going to give you a couple of tips at the end of the video on how to make that seamless so it doesn't seem like you're selling everybody on your actual services. You're just saying, hey, this is what I do, but you're also interested in what they're doing. So make sure you stay to the end of the video to learn that. So I hope that number one tip makes sense. Remember, these people, again, are going to be the people who help you build your credibility because they know, like, and trust you, and they're going to give you their listings. They're going to let you help them purchase a house, and then you can use that as social proof on your social media so that you can market that to other people that you're connected with that you may not be able to contact because you don't have their email or phone number. And they're going to see your information out there. And then any sellers that you're working with, you're going to be like, hey, here are some people that I've helped buy. Here are some people that I helped sell if they want some credibility. Funny thing is, a lot of people aren't actually going to ask you for your credibility, but those that do, at least you'll have some ammo to go to whenever they're actually asking for that information. The next tip is making sure that you use your company's or your team's past success. So what I mean by that is your team probably has won some awards, your company has won some awards, the number of sales they've done, the number of total transactions, the number of total listings that they've sold, right? All of these numbers, if you're part of a team or part of a company, are actually numbers that you can utilize. Now, if you're worried about that, go to your broker and say, hey, is this okay if I use these numbers? Go to your team lead and say, hey, is it okay if I use these numbers? And then as you're talking to a seller, you can say things like, hey, my team was able to accomplish XYZ last year or last quarter. My team was able to get, 30 houses under contract, and out of those 30 houses, 29 sold, only one didn't sell. But what you're doing is you're presenting this to the seller and saying, I know what I'm doing. I have the confidence in what I'm doing. I have the confidence in my team and what we've been able to accomplish. And I'm sure that we can do the same thing for your house. And what's going to happen is you're going to start building your own confidence, which is leading into tip number 4. So my next tip is having confidence in your skill set and having confidence in your team. What will happen is whenever you're having conversations with sellers or you're having conversations with new people that you're in contact with, the more confidence that you can carry, it's going to come across the table or the phone, and people are going to be like, oh yeah, this person sounds like they know what they're doing, and I really want to work with them. Just like watching this video right now. Many of you may not know who I am. I'm sure you'll be able to Google me and find out more about me. But you're going to be like, man, this Joseph Gonzalez guy really knows what he's talking about. I certainly want to work with him. The same thing can happen for you. So if you go ahead and have that confidence and that certainty as you're talking to possible sellers and saying, hey, I know that we can accomplish this. I know that we hit these numbers last year. Your house falls in the realm of the homes that we've sold. And I think we can go ahead and push forward and get you what you need, selling your house for top dollar at the fastest time frame possible. People are going to be like, oh yeah, I like what he or she is saying, and I'm definitely going to work with them. So I would say make sure you have confidence and certainty in the words that you're saying. And if you don't, make sure that you're practicing that, which will lead into the next tip we're going to talk about. So the next tip is making sure that you partner with somebody or find a mentor in your office that is a top producer. I want to confirm that and say that one more time. Make sure that they are a top producer. Why? Because a top producer typically knows what to do and what not to do. And you want to learn those things. You want to know what, hey, here's the things that I should be accomplishing and here are the pitfalls that I should be avoiding. So how do you do that? How do you go in and work with a top producer? What you're going to do is you're going to find somebody in your office and you're going to say, hey, look, I'm really wanting to be successful in real estate. For the rest of my career, I want to make this my career and what I do for the rest of my life. And what you're going to do is you're going to say, hey, can I put out signs for you? I'm driven, I'm hungry, I'm motivated. I'll do whatever I need to do to accomplish this. So you're putting out signs for them, you're creating flyers for them, you're holding open houses for them. And by proxy, what's going to happen is you're going to start getting co-listings with this particular agent. The reason being is because they've been in the game for a long time and they're really successful. They can't do everything. So they need somebody that they can trust. So as long as you're doing your job and you're communicating well, which we were talking about earlier, making sure you know how to communicate with them, practice communicating with other agents in your office as well, or other agents that are new, so that they know that you're driven and you're like, hey, I practiced this past week with so-and-so doing XYZ. That agent that is your mentor or that agent that is your now co-listing partner is gonna be like, I can really trust you. So I would say make sure that you're going out there and you're communicating really well with this particular agent, doing everything they need, because I would say the number one reason that most agents fail whenever it comes to a transaction falling through or a deal falling through is usually because the agent's not great at communicating. So make sure that if you do get a mentor or you do get a partner, that you're communicating with them as best as you possibly can. Do not ghost them. Do not let anything fall through the cracks. So I would say the next tip on this would be sure to make sure you get a good mentor, a top producing mentor or partner that would lead to a co-listing partner. And the final tip is make sure you're communicating well. So I said this just a minute ago, but I want to make sure I reiterate this point. The majority of deals fall apart because of bad communication. So if you're not great at having conversations on the phone, you're not great at text conversations, I want you to go out there and practice with friends. I want you to practice with family members. I want you to practice with other agents in your office. Anybody that you can get to actually listen to you and give you a rebuttal so that you can practice that is going to be somebody that's going to help move your career along. So make sure that you're doing your best job and doing the best at trying to communicate really well and saying, hey, how did that communication feel? Did it feel natural? Did it feel like it was just an easy conversation? Could you hear my confidence in the conversation? Because you want to make sure, again, all these tips that we talked about, you're bringing them all together to show that you are a confident person who can actually get listings for that seller and then actually sell their house. So I hope that tip helps. Make sure you have confidence, make sure you have certainty in the words that you're saying, and make sure you're communicating really, really well with anybody that you're talking to, especially in this real estate game. So I told you to give you a bonus tip on how to continue to build your credibility. So one thing that I would do is actually go out to new construction homes and find these new homes that are out there that have just sold. And then you ask the builder, hey, can I market some of the houses that you currently have? Also, can I talk about the houses that have just sold out here in this particular community? Because you're going to use that on your social media, post it everywhere you possibly can if they let you do it, and say, this house just sold in so-and-so neighborhood for X dollars. This house just sold in so-and-so neighborhood for X dollars. Here are the houses that are still available in X neighborhood. So what you're doing is you're going out there and you're showing all this social proof. So whenever you start talking to sellers, you can tell them what's going on in these different communities, because this large knowledge base that you start building is what you can use to say to the seller, hey, seller, I know that the community right down the street, a house that is comparable to yours, just sold for X dollars over asking price in X days. They're going to be like, oh, Joseph really knows what he's talking about. And they're going to be willing to work with you more so than somebody else that's just coming in talking about, whatever information they're talking about. So make sure that you understand how to utilize other people's information, specifically builders, to utilize in your seller's packages, which we'll talk about packages on another video, but that'll help you build credibility much faster. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, my name is Joseph Gonzalez. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure that you like, comment if you have any questions or if you really enjoyed the video down below. And also make sure you subscribe. We're going to be pushing out videos weekly, if not daily, to make sure we get information out there for both new real estate agents and agents who have been in the game trying to up their game in the new digital world. We'll see you guys in the next video.